back with another YouTube video. Today it's going to be a showing off video. Now I got some new items from the pawn shop and flea markets. I got some new items that my father got in that we will be selling. And I've got some new items that I have made and one item that I have repurposed. And I got an update on this Denix 1911 that I got from my friend Edward, or JJ Jinx, whichever. So first thing I'll show off is the stuff I got at the pawn shop. First thing I'll start off with is this beautiful Buck 110 3-dot. And yes, I did already have one, but what makes this one particularly special is this one is completely unused. No signs of wear on any particular side of the case. Besides, it looked like it's been opened a couple of times. And the knife, it is never been used, never been sharpened. It still has the factory edge. There's not even any signs of rust on the inside of the knife. It's never been used. It looks like all it needs is a repolish, but this is a very good find. I found this at a local pawn shop in my area, and this particular one is going to go straight in my collection. I'm not getting rid of this knife. That is a beautiful one, and I'll just sell off the 110 3-dot that I already have and keep this one for myself. Beautiful piece. I'm going to try to polish it up today if I have time. But for now, I'm going to keep it in this Ziploc bag just to make sure to keep the leather preserved. Next item I purchased was this charade knife. Now, obviously, the sheath doesn't go with this knife. Don't know what the sheath goes to. But the actual knife that's in this is an LB7 charade Uncle Henry. No, this isn't the Uncle Henry version. This is just the charade LB7. Really beat up shape, but for the price, I couldn't pass it up. I do plan on cleaning this up a little bit and turning around and selling it, but it won't be for very much because it doesn't look in good a shape, trust me. I'll clean it up to the best of my abilities, and I'll turn around and probably sell it. And I'm going to sell the sheath separately because this sheath does not go with this knife. I'll probably keep this sheath until I can find out what it goes to. Beautiful. Let's see. Yeah, that's all the pawn shop finds. Oh yeah, I got this at the pawn shop too. Another item I got was this Buck 450. Didn't have one of these. Well, I used to, but I made a dumb decision to sell it a long time ago, and now I saw this and I had to get it back. So, for the price, I couldn't pass it up. It's going to look great in my collection. Beautiful knife. Next, another pawn shop find was this charade 897 UH Uncle Henry. Sadly, the main spring is broken, but what I plan to do is take the spring, the broken one, out of this and replace it with a new one, and then just completely clean it up and keep it in my collection because I am starting to collect charade knives. Beautiful. Last but not least, is the flea market finds. First good find was this Imperial Stockman Frontier knife. Despite it being rusted, it's actually in really good shape. The blades are intact perfectly, and it's got some severe pitting, but nothing that can't be cleaned. The springs are perfectly intact, and this one I'll be putting for sale once I get it cleaned up. And then next, this Boker USA knife. Again, it's another Stockman. Again, I found this at a flea market. In really good shape for the age, and I do plan on selling this once I get it cleaned up. That's awesome. Alright, that's all the stuff that I personally bought. Next is some stuff that my father got in for me. First is this case knife that I cleaned up already. This one dates between 1920 to 1940. Sucks the blades are in really used shape, but we do plan on posting this for sale on eBay if anybody's interested. I cleaned it up really good, got all the rust off of it, and repolished them the best way I could. Next is this Cutmaster I haven't cleaned up yet. It's a Cutmaster small Stockman. Haven't had the chance to clean it up yet. Next is this old advertisement knife. Again, I'll try to clean it up sometime today. But this one will be put for sale too. Next is this small little colonial knife. Again, it'll be cleaned up and put for sale. I just haven't had the time to get to it yet. And then last but not least is a knife that my father actually got for me. It's a Victorinox Little Mini. I forgot what model this is called. Beautiful shape. I love the design, how small and compact it is. To make a great addition to my Victorinox collection. Alright, that's all the stuff I got that my father wanted me to show. Next is on the knives that I've made, the one that I fixed up. I'll just show off the one I fixed up. Those who may remember in the previous video, I broke a fake buck 120 that I had purchased. And I figured for the heck of it, I would fix it up just for the heck of it. So I took the blade, made a nice tang out of it, and put a nice little walnut handle on it, put a nice aluminum guard, just so I can probably turn around and get rid of it. Still turned out pretty good, but I don't think I'll hold on to it very long. I'll probably give it away or probably just sell it really cheap. Next is one of the knives I made. This particular one I made out of a lawnmower blade. Nice piece of aluminum for the guard, a nice lawnmower blade for the blade. Nice piece of walnut for the handles. Nice classic Bowie knife shape. Next is another one I produced. Again with a nice piece of crown stag, a nice piece of aluminum for the guard, and a nice Nicholson file for the blade. Again, this will be put for sale, and so are all the other ones. Next is this little one that I made. Again, from a Nicholson file with a nice piece of crown stag and a nice piece of aluminum. Again, they'll be put for sale. And next is these little knives I made just using recycled material. Nice piece of deer antler and a piece of plastic and a nice old butter knife blade that I recycled. I don't get rid of the butter knife blades unless they're China ones. If they're USA ones, I keep them and I always repurpose them. And next is this one I made out of a hedge clipper blade. Again, piece of stag and a nice piece of red plastic. Next is another little one I made. Again, nice piece of stag, piece of blue plastic, and a nice butter knife blade. It's just not dull as a butter knife. And next is this little one I made. Again, using a nice Nicholson file, nice piece of crown stag, a brass washer, and there you go. So this particular one is for sale. All these homemade ones I made are for sale. And last but not least, it's been a while since I made one of these again, so I decided to make one since I hadn't made one in a while. A nice classic straight razor. The blade itself is a recycled USA cake knife blade that I had from one of the ones I took the handles off of. And I simply, when I looked at it, it was too thin to make a fixed blade out of, so I figured what else could I do with it? And I decided to make a nice cutthroat razor. Nice piece of walnut for the handle, 2 pins to help seal the whole thing together. And of course, a nice blade for it. Again, these are all for sale. Alright, that's all the stuff I've got to show off. Next thing I'll show off is what I did to this. This is the Denix replica of a military issued 1911 A1. Same one the military were issued with back in World War I. And those who may know, my good friend J.J. Jinx got this for me. And gotta say, I love this thing for a replica. It sucks it doesn't have all the moving parts, but I still love it as a replica. And even my father, who owns a couple of real 1911s, he owns a Kimber and a Remington, says this even feels just like a real gun. And I did some slight modifications to this, because one thing I noticed right off the bat is it doesn't have a really strong spring on the inside for when you rack it. So what I did is I took this part out, like you do with the real 1911s, and I reinforced the inside spring with another spring and fixed it up. Now it sounds like a real gun. And what I also love about Denix is they actually take safety very seriously with their replicas, because when I took this apart, the slide will not come off. Even with these 2 pieces off, it will not come off, because when you try to take it off like a real 1911, there's a little latch that's on the inside of this that keeps you from taking it off for obvious reasons. So I love that they went that much with safety and it still looks like a real gun. And I modified it just a little bit. And the reason I know how to do that is because before I got into knife making, I used to make a lot of prop guns and prop knives before I got into knife making. So I still vaguely remember how to take these kind of things and modify them to look even more realistic and make them function a little more realistic. And I do plan to actually get some checkered grips for this thing, again, to make it look a lot more realistic. But still, for a replica, it's pretty darn good for the price. Love this one. This is one of my favorites. Again, thank you very much, JJ Jinx. Alright, that's all the stuff I've got to show. Hope you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned for the next video I will upload. That is going to be my 700 subscriber video, because I had no idea I'd even hit that, because I'd been so busy with orders. So, hope you've enjoyed the video, and as always, stay sharp.